Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We have a great panel here today. As you guys can see, Carrie Cassidy, Brad Olson, Laura Eisenhower, and Donna Ferrara. We're going to have a nice little discussion. We're going to talk about the latest and greatest events that everybody's, on everybody's mind. 3I Atlas. Maybe we'll delve into the recent Charlie Kirk and human trafficking. We can go into a lot of different areas. I know everyone on this panel has deep insights into a lot of stuff, and we'll just move in that direction. We got Mike Barra joining us now. Hey, Mike. And
hi, guys. How you doing?
Good, good. So we'll start off with Donna. She's going to present, an upcoming event, and then we'll start to do a roundtable. Go ahead, Donna.
Hi, everybody. My name is Donna Ferrara. I live here on Long Island. And I wanted to gift Long Island New Yorkers and those near Long Island to this wonderful panel that I'm bringing to New York, Long Island, to share with us some of their insights and perceptions of what's going on, bring a little bit more awareness to our financial institution, how that's been designed, some of our misleading information, how we learned in school, maybe some of the history could be unraveled by Mr. Brad. And we have lovely Laura here, spiritual, beautiful Laura, who I'm telling you, she's been a little bit of my backbone. Laura, thank you so much. And we have fabulous Kerry, one of my favorite podcasters, who is well-diverse and very educated in her history of whistleblowers and her research and studies. And we have a lot to look forward to. And we just lost Michael. Maybe because I brought up the financial institution, he went off screen. I didn't mean to scare him like that. I don't know what happened there, but he'll come back.
We'll let him back in. No worries.
And Michael, thank you so much for having all of us.
Yeah. It's a great honor.
I told you I didn't scare him.
Thanks for agreeing, everyone. Thanks so much. So let's jump in and let's talk about, we were kind of discussing it a little bit before the show, 3I Atlas. So I'll just start it off. 3I Atlas, I remote viewed it, intelligent life on it. Or we're gonna have interaction with it. Probably some people already have. I don't know how far that's going to go. I think the deep state's going to use it as a Project Bluebeam situation because they're coming in, I think, for a positive. Now, I do believe they have some connection with Anunnaki and probably Nibiru, but that remains to be seen. So we'll just roll around and we'll see what everybody has to say. We'll start with you, Brad.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I was just the moderator on a panel with Mike Barra and Carrie Cassidy 1 week ago down in Las Vegas, and we spoke about the 3I Atlas, determining what it is and the trajectory it has and how it lands on these certain dates. And Carrie was saying, just like you, Michael, that it is intelligently guided and it is some kind of craft. So we are in for some fireworks this fall, you guys. It's going to be an amazing journey. We're not through 2025 yet. And I just saw a link from Michael Flynn, and he said that there are very credible threats that the Al-Qaeda sleeper cells are going to activate this fall. So wouldn't it be a coinkydink if we had like some kind of EMP attack or some kind of internal strife? Maybe the lights go out, everybody has to look up at the sky, and we get this incredible star show. I don't think there's any coincidences here, but could be a very interesting next couple months.
Very good, very good. And let's jump to Mike Barra. I know, Carrie, you're going to have I've heard some of your conversations. you're going to crush this one. So,
well, by the way, Carrie, I want to sincerely apologize for biting your head off on the panel there. There was a lot of other things going on, and I know sometimes when you get going, it's hard to stop you. So I'm very sorry, and I won't do that again. To me, it's very bizarre because I want to say, oh, it's a chunk of something. You know, there is this theory that it's, at least the theory that I have, that it could be a chunk of a planet that used to be in the orbit where Mars is right now. Mars used to be a moon of that planet, and we can pretty much prove there was a planet there. It was massive, and it exploded God knows when, how long ago. And so it could be coming back on its first return cycle. Now, there's some arguments that support that. One, is that it is going to intersect almost like right with the planet, the orbit of the planet Mars, very close to it, which indicates an original origin. If this is a returning object, and people right now don't think it is, but if it is, there's that fact, and the fact that it's on the plane of the ecliptic where Mars and the other planets are, which, because again, there's this completely competing theory with NASA's that planets are actually spun off as plasma by stars like the sun. As they get spinning too fast, they get too much spin energy, and then they spit the planets out, they cool, they form, that kind of thing. That's a different argument. So when you look at the intersection, the near intersection of Mars orbit, the chances of it having that orbit are about 500 to 1. Now, Michael, you know, I live in Vegas. You give me 500 to 1 odds, I'm going to the roulette table all night. I'm taking everything out of the bank. I'm spending every dime I have, and I'm going to walk away a millionaire. And then the fact that it's also coming in and intersecting the plane of the ecliptic where all the planets are, the odds against that are like 20,000 to 1, according to Avi Loeb. So you put the 20,000 to 1, yeah, I'm sure you're all going to come down and give me some money to bet on whatever we're playing. So those are extraordinary coincidences. And I hearken back on the panel to Hale-Bopp in 1998, which of course there was a lot of negativity associated with that. The twin-tailed, one tail was sodium, one tail was something else, Hale-Bopp comet. And the thing is, the exact moment of closest approach to Earth corresponded with a lunar eclipse on exactly opposite sides of the sky. I'll never forget being in Portland, Oregon. I was helping my sister move, and that celestial display is taking place. And the chance of that happening is literally millions to 1. And that, to me, indicated that what they were doing, that somebody arranged that. Somebody pushed Hale-Bopp into that orbit, which, again, if it's a comet or an asteroid out in the asteroid belt, you just take your little flying saucer up there and you nudge it in the right calculated direction, and you create that celestial coincidence. So do we have that technology? Yes. Could this thing be some aspect of that technology? Yes. But if it's a genuine visitor from outer space, if it's genuinely from somewhere else, they are going out of their way to get our attention because of the coincidences of the orbit. So I'm just saying, previously celestial events have had apparently arranged circumstances. This one appears to have those same earmarks, and whether its origin is more natural or completely artificial is unknown to us at this time. But we're going to find out on October 29th. And Michael, what creeps me out, I told Brad and everybody on the panel back then, what creeps me out is that date has had a major significance in my life. I started at Boeing on that date. I've had other major life events happen on that date. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, please, no, let's not have it. Let's not have, because that's when it's going to emerge from behind the sun. And we're going to know if it's changed course, if it's accelerated, any of those things, we don't know. But it's going to be an ultra exciting day for me because of all those numeric coincidences.
Fascinating. Thanks, Mike. And Carrie, what are your thoughts on 3I Atlas?
Okay, so I just was going to find a quote from Richard Hoagland, but so I'm on a news group. I want to, that, and maybe, I don't know yet. I haven't heard if Hoagland's going to get online tonight. So they have been blocking him completely. They also blocking his phone. He's now suing the city. He basically is not being allowed online. He's not being allowed to really communicate much with people. And we are getting messages from him occasionally. I guess they're coming by way of David Sereda and others that are somehow helping him, but he hasn't been able to communicate. This is very important because Richard C. Hoagland, who I interviewed many years ago, and some people that know my work might realize that, this is something that's kind of right in his wheelhouse, and he's being completely blocked from communicating with the public. So he does a weekly show, or he used to, when they stopped blocking. They've been blocking him for like a month now. And so tonight at 9 o'clock, I think it's 9 o'clock Pacific time. I think that's right. If he was going to go live, you can keep an eye on my Telegram for those that, if this goes online, I don't know if we're live. Are we live actually?
Yeah, we're live right now. So okay, is that going live on your channel, Carrie?
I don't know about that. All I'm saying is that if we're live, then people that listen right now can actually at 9 o'clock tonight Pacific time tune in wherever they are in the United States or the world. Now, if it works. But the thing is, this should tell you a lot, you know, that NASA, he's a former NASA scientist. He was famous for making people aware of the face on Mars and all kinds of, actually even the hyperdimensional physics that that David Sereda has also taken on board and created a whole sort of map of what he calls the hyperdimensional universe. And that includes all the hyperdimensional planets. Those are hidden. They're in another dimension, but they can actually become visible from time to time when you're in hyperdimensional anything. And for the purposes of this discussion, we are hyperdimensional. We are multidimensional is really more accurate, I think. But this is so what David Sereda did, just in a nutshell, is that he has a way of using mathematics, and Richard Hoagland is totally on board with his mathematics. And we did shows where he basically tracked what is the anticipated trajectory of 3I Atlas, and it is literally going along like on a railroad track in the sky, if you want to visualize it, in this weird trajectory through our solar system. And it's making stops or flybys, if you will, of important planets like Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and near Earth. Okay. And it's also going behind the sun. I can't remember. So if you watch my videos, I have like 5 of them or something at this point. Richard was supposed to join the last 3 and he was banned. He was unable to do so. So, but he is sending messages, and that's why I wanted to, maybe when we come back around, I can find the quotes that he made. But the bottom line here is also that I've been tracking the Anunnaki for many, many years. And so the weird thing is that I had no idea like about the mathematics. That's the last area I have expertise in. But as it happened, it matched my intuition and my download saying this looks like an Anunnaki craft. So indeed, he tracked it back to not coming from deep space, which is where they said originally it was coming from. And there's a scientist, his name is Avi Loeb, and I can get his background description if you need it, and we can in a minute or two and bring that forward if you'd like. But he's a lead scientist, if you will, in the mainstream. He does a Substack called Medium, and he writes articles on keeping us all up to date on his view of 3I Atlas. And now we have a sister planetoid. And there's no doubt whatsoever that this is it's an alien craft. It's a artificial craft. Okay. So it's not a comet. It's not a rock. It's actually surrounded by a, well, they don't say this, but I have a whistleblower called Mark Richards who talked about basically the Dyson sphere, and that a lot of Dyson spheres are constructed out in space, and that aliens often put things into it. I know it sounds kind of bizarre. And well, Earth could be in our solar system, could be even in a Dyson sphere, and we wouldn't necessarily know it. Now, so that sort of deepens the mystery. So they say it's 28 miles across. Well, 28 miles is approximately the size of New York City. So if you want to understand how big it is, it's not, a lot of people like to say it's, on one panel I was on, it was saying, somebody was saying, oh, it's very similar to Umumu. Well, it's not similar. Okay, Umumu, unless they were lying about, which it's perfectly possible. But Umumu is, you know, you've seen the picture, it's like a big rock in space, in essence, kind of a little bit flattened. And this is not that, okay? It's so far from that, I can't even tell you. And I don't want to dominate, you know, so I think I've talked enough. I have lots to say about it. I've been, you know, deeply into this story. And now we have this thing called SWAN. They called it SWAN 2025 or SWAN 25. It's shown up. It looks more like it's hidden behind a comet or it's not a comet at all, but it seems to be somehow at the same time and space as 3I Atlas. So we have two things now, not just one. And that opens the dialogue to the possibility that we've got, that could be, depends who you want to talk to. Some people think Galactic Federation is involved here, and we can talk about all that. There's a lot of conjecture, a lot of people who are sort of woo-woo into their, cosmic thing. One person was talking about, oh, it's going to help us ascend. No, I'm sorry. But if you don't know the history of our relationship with the Anunnaki, then you don't understand that they consider themselves gods, our rulers, that Anu is the head Anunnaki, that he is the father of Enki and Enlil. It's all in the Sumerian tablets, open to interpretation. Zachariah Sitchin wrote something like 12 books about it. So I'm just trying to give a whole litany. So anyone watching this who doesn't know Zipal might be able to get up to speed quickly. So I'll just shut up for now.
Yeah, and I was going to add, Carrie, Richard Hoagland. I wrote my first book with him, Dark Mission. He's a genius. I mean, he's brilliant. He's beyond brilliant. He has insights that nobody else has before anybody else has them. He's great.
Excellent, guys. Great discussion. Great insights, Carrie. Love your work. Thanks a lot, Laura. What are your thoughts on 3I Atlas?
Yeah, well, it's great to hear what everybody has to say. I've been kind of trying to keep up with just a lot of you guys' interpretation, and obviously remote viewing and just deeper understanding and talking to the folks that you talk to. I can't really wrap my head around it. I mean, I'm hearing everything from 7 comets coming, and when you hear the astronomers and the way that they describe it as a comet, that is not necessarily what is happening here. And I think with what you guys just shared, it reveals a lot that science is not going to cover. I mean, we see what science allows us to see, so-called science, versus a much more multidimensional landscape. And I really feel that there's nothing that's here to help us ascend except for what we're unlocking within ourselves anyway. So comets tend to be more like messengers. If there's any kind of ship or craft involved, we've been dealing with galactic federations and Anunnaki for a really long time. Sure, this orbit of Nibiru. Some have said that it pretty much has imploded a long time ago, and there's only small parts of it that even still exist. And any Anunnaki return, I don't feel like they ever left, and I feel like they've been our foster parents that have acted like the gods that have kept us from true source, and that we need to awaken to that to collapse the control grid that is putting things in reversal. And there's always going to be a story behind a story. There's a story behind a story, like. And this is why it's important, these kind of panels, because, obviously everybody here, including myself, have dug deep into the topics that we are familiar with, or we speak upon, or that some might consider us experts of. I wouldn't say that this has been something I've been able to gain clarity about, but I do have a strong feeling that they always leverage an event in order to create a psyop to distract us away from the truth. And this is no different. So, I just love these conversations, because as long as we can put it all out on the table and talk about it, I find it very interesting that Richard Hoagland, out of all people, and it doesn't surprise me that much, but I was on panels with him back, and I think the panel you put on, Carrie, at one of the Camelot events, and we had an interesting dynamic because of the recruitment to go to Mars. But anybody who's being silenced, any information that's hard to get out there, is definitely, I would. And I think the people that are listening put more attention on that and really begin to dissect it. But it's not objects that are going to do it. It's us that are going to ascend. And it's going to take us breaking down the control matrix and the Anunnaki overlays and manipulation that have caused this dependency bond with a false authority structure that has this good cop, bad cop with Enki and Enlil. So I think if we can break that down, we'll also nullify any impact they can have on us, including dark weapons and even sleeper agents that are being activated. If we can understand the weaponized humans and any aspect of information that's been weaponized, we can override it and begin to cap its impact on us. And I think that's just important for us to remember as far as ascension.
Wow.
I love that.
Stunning insights. Thanks, Laura. And wow, what an amazing panel. This is the way we should all be talking all the time. But
Beautiful.
Carrie's talking about we're heavily suppressed, like Richard Hoagland, unfortunately. Donna, what are your insights on 3i Atlas?
Well, I'm listening to the panel and I'm learning as they're speaking. I'm not that well diverse in this. I'm sort of a newbie in a sense. I've been hearing a lot of talk about what's going on, and that's why I love having the panel together, because they educate me and they're going to further educate all of Long Island and New York and hopefully the rest of the world. So I like people to know that I'm not well diverse in these subjects. My heart is very curious to know what's going on, and I have a great panel that's going to help educate us and open our minds to what's really going on in our world. And I love these guys. I'm being honest.
And so much is going to change from now until the conference too. Just like it has in the week since we had our panel in Las Vegas, because one thing you said, Carrie, there are no clear pictures of it. They are definitely holding up any kind of astronomical pictures. I just
Brad, there are clear pictures. They're just not going to let us see them. There are definitely clear pictures. We just aren't seeing them.
But what if, when it makes that closest connection, if all the amateur astronomers are able to see it and they can't hold that back, what if this is what really triggers a real disclosure in Earth? That's what I'm hoping, more than Project Bluebeam, which could be also part of the cabal's way of ushering in this new world order. That's what they always said it would be.
This is a good go-to panel for when the Bluebeam does come. You want to
at least we can look back here and see.
I have a question. When that energy, that change of energy comes that close to the Earth, are you going to feel the electric? Would you feel that jolt inside yourself? I mean, are we all connected to all this movement, right? So that kind of movement around that's happening with the planets, aren't we all affected by that? Am I off the charts here, or I missed it? Laura, I feel that everything moving and something like that coming that close to our hemisphere, our moon, and our sun, I think we're going to feel it within our own energy within our bodies. I'm hoping it's going to be a huge awakening, whether they display it one way or not.
Right. Remember, sorry, go ahead, Laura.
Oh, no, you go first.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, one of the things Richard and I wrote about in Dark Mission, our book, and I've subsequently expanded on it in some other books I've written, The Choice, pick it up at Amazon. But the solar system is a system, and everything is connected. Primarily, the main functioning force that creates kind of everything is this spin energy, or what they call angular momentum, right? So it depends on if this object is massive enough, if it's got enough spin energy, and if it hits the right angles and configurations as it passes through the solar system, then yes, it can have a measurable physical effect. I mean, Richard's done experiments where he actually measured what's called the transit of Venus, where it's basically an eclipse where little tiny Venus comes across the disk of the sun, and he's recorded it on sensitive instruments, that there is something happening in terms of a physical effect that can be recorded. So you will feel something probably if this thing is really as significant as we expect it to be. You will get a vibe, basically. Yeah, Donna, I think that something weird is going on, and we already do, because of the fact, they're not ramping us up on this so much as we're responding to what I think we energetically already feel, which is that, something weird's going on. And there's so much weirdness in the air right now, gosh, let's name all the things, right?
Oh, I just wanted to mention real quick, the eclipse energy is, it's really powerful. The great thing is that all three outer planets are in harmony with each other. So Pluto, Uranus, Neptune are all in harmony with each other. And the North Node Pisces, Neptune, Aries, Saturn retrograding into Pisces, moving back into Aries, is really the embodiment of the divine human. But there's going to be different levels that people experience, planetary energies, comets. I mean, doesn't matter. Ships, federations, beings. It depends on your consciousness. So a frequency coming from Mars can have its shadow and its higher octave. Same with Saturn. You have the inverted Saturn, black cube Saturn, inversion that we've been, dealing with, but it's self-mastery. It's being our own internal authority. And when we graduate to these higher octaves, we have a different relationship with what we're all kind of feeling. We're not feeling it the same way. Like the shadow of Neptune is self-undoing, even suicide, even addiction, right? Its higher octave is being able to see the multidimensional, being able to see the unseen and bring life to the unconscious. You're going to have a completely different experience. So the question is, do we run away or do we face these things as we confront the energetic shifts?
Excellent points.
Inhale.
Now let's move to let's move to the New York Awakening Summit on October 4th and 5th. Brad, what are you bringing to the conference?
Well, I've been asked to speak twice, and I'm going to do my Hidden Esoteric in Plain Sight based on my 3 books in the Esoteric series, which is basically all the things around the world that we've always seen and maybe didn't pay much attention to, but have hidden symbology. And it's been said that symbols are the language of the Illuminati. So we're going to look at all the ways that they're peppering us with their symbology and what it might mean. And then I'm also going to do the hidden anomalies of Antarctica, which, as all you know, I went down there 7 years ago, and I'm working on a new book, which is actually done. I'm just building the index for it right now. And some of these panelists might write an endorsement for it. And it's a great book. I think it's my best. It's my 11th book. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on in Antarctica too. There too may be the trigger point for disclosure if what really is below the ice and in Antarctica could ever come forward. It's going to be amazing. And I now have U-boat maps of Germany during World War II that they show the exact route to get underneath the ice, well deep into the continental landmass to within 100 miles of the South Pole. And that happens to be where this giant hole is in the ice, where Admiral Byrd flew a plane in and saw this fantastic landscape. So there could be high civilization, maybe alien craft that have crashed there that are now coming to the fore, and all the other great and weird stuff about Antarctica I'm going to be talking about in that presentation. So I'm looking forward to giving it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, I look forward to that book. And, you know, I believe that, you know, Antarctica, I know all of us could probably go deep into this subject, but I believe at one time it was ice free. You know, there was, you know, pole shift, and maybe we'll see it free of ice again in the future. But Mike Barrow, what are you bringing to the conference? What's your focus?
At this point, I don't know, because I don't know which thing I want to talk about. There's so many things to talk about. There's 3i Atlas. There's the political situation. You know, I mean, I'm thinking about writing a book, and I'm talking to Brad. You know, Brad, maybe you'll publish it. I don't know. Somebody will, I suppose. About the 3 coups, the 3 presidents that have been removed because of the alien presence. President Kennedy, President Nixon, because he had the audacity to show Jackie Gleason the alien bodies and stuff like that, and they said we got to get rid of this guy. And then Donald Trump, who's the one under whom we created Space Force, which I believe is like Shadow from the old Jerry and Sylvia Anderson show UFO, which is supposed to be the space defense against the aliens. I think that's why he created that branch. And he also was releasing information about JFK. Now, if JFK was killed because he was going to tell people about aliens, and it seems to me you have to set the table for that revelation by convincing people aliens are actually a thing, which seems to be what Donald Trump did almost immediately after he took his first oath of office. So then, of course, he was removed, and we all know what happened with the EF, the thing we can't really talk about on certain open channels. That start. The second word is fraud. The first word starts with an E. And so, you know, but it's interesting because it seems like the dark state, the deep state, is getting weaker and weaker. But you know, they've gone from killing a president to impeaching a president to just using EF to remove a president. Which the whole world could see how completely phony that was, and everybody knows who really won in 2020. So I want to talk about all that stuff, but the ground is shifting underneath us so fast that I'm not sure if I will. I mean, there could be major revelations about 3i Atlas since then. So I think we'll focus on secret space programs. I don't know, but it'll be something between what Brad has and Laura's got and all that stuff. But it'll be good. And then the other thing is, look, we got these congressional committees showing videos of what looked to me as an aerospace engineer, former aerospace engineer. They're saying these are videos of UAPs being hit by missiles, and it looks to me like a target balloon being punctured by a drone. So the question then becomes, if I'm right, let's just assume I am, why are they lying to the people on these committees? Why are they setting up Anna Paulina Luna and Tim Burchett to look like fools when they can expose it? You know, I mean, they're saying these videos are UFOs and aliens. I'm unimpressed by any of them at this point. The USS Omaha or the Hellfire missile one. To me, it just looks like a drone pops a balloon. And you know, so I mean, it just doesn't. They just don't make any sense. Yeah, but Carrie, I hear you, but you know, I understand. I know
balloon,
what they do.
Really? Do you have to use that? I mean, that like it's not a balloon. Trust me.
It pops like a balloon.
It actually survives the impact of the missile,
like
so it's not a balloon.
Right.
Get a
I want to get into an argument with Carrie.
Okay.
I want to get into Carrie. I'll put
just don't
myself
keep
out.
us in the same room. That's all I
You can rip me
suggest
apart.
at this
Yeah.
moment.
So, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I think let's just pretend that I know my shit and that it's a balloon being struck by a drone and it's punctured. Let's assume that. Let's assume I know a little.
No, let's not assume that.
Then the
That would
question
be-
is,
do you want to
question is-
Comcast? How about that?
what's going to happen, Michael? And but the question then is a bigger question, Carrie, that I think it's more important that we should both be addressing is, if that's true, why are they setting up these congressional committees to look like fools? There's an underlying narrative that they want to push, and they're going to try to undermine these people in the political realm. The question is why and to what end, and what are they planning on springing on us instead? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Very good. Very good. And you're like me, Mike. I just feel the audience out, and I just talk about what comes to mind. So it seems to work out pretty good for me that way as well. Gary, what are your thoughts? What are you going to share? Are you like,
well,
besides ripping on me, what do you?
Yeah, right. No, you know, I do want to talk about the Anunnaki through Atlas, the Charlie Kirk. I just made a major video about the Charlie Kirk situation, the White Hats, how they're conducting themselves, how they created that basically false flag, and how he's in witness protection. So I think my information is absolutely unequivocal. And there are a couple other people out there that are, you know, sort of on my side of the spectrum. But I found the quote from Richard that he wrote to this small group that I'm part of. And it says, "It's time for every human on earth to face the truth. They're here. In fact, 2 ET groups seem to have arrived simultaneously, each in very different planet-sized spaceships." So we have this thing, he says, and this is, I'm continuing a little bit here. He says, the latest Swan 25 now image is taken by another amateur astronomer. So we're not, yes, they actually have made AI videos where they've talked about this Event Horizon hacker group that supposedly hacked NASA. But then when you look at the video, they don't give you any new real pictures at all. They say they hacked them. They say they got all kinds of pictures and they don't show them. So somehow something very weird going on with that. This thing, he said, I mean, this is Richard's words. He's saying that this latest ET vehicle is heading right for Earth. This is, there's this sort of amateur astronomer called Philippe Romanov. He got, I guess, some good images, and I can show you this. So I actually have a lot of images for you. I could just go through them really, really quickly. So let me see if I can share my screen. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Because, you know, pictures are better than 1,000 words.
Totally.
They say. So I hope that I can get to this. So hold on one second here. I just need to show my desktop. That would be the best thing. Okay, I'm not sure how to do that. Okay.
Hope nobody out there thinks we're like Heaven's Gate here when hail come through and I'm kind of suicide.
Well, I have a major image right here to show you that Richard sent. So, you know, it is useful. Share screen. I think we can do that. Hello. Okay. Chrome tab window. Let's try entire screen. Okay, let's try window. Okay, can you see? Oh, Are you able to see anything right
It'll.
now?
I think, Michael, it'll pop up on a as
right.
another window.
All right. So do you see
It's
this?
coming up now,
This is it. Okay, I
There
think
we
I got it. Right? Is that it? You see that?
Yeah.
You got it.
So this Richard Hoagland sent through. I guess the image is captured by this. And he also is saying, you know, why is Trump saying nothing? Which, of course, they aren't saying anything, which is really annoying to everyone. And by the way, the UAP hearings, you know, they are disclosing some very important stuff there, but they're still sort of examining their navels and basically wondering if there are crash retrievals, something we solved, I don't know, a good 20, I've been doing this 20 years with whistleblowers, and impeccable evidence, and all of them working in above top secret most of their lives. So, you know, what is taking so long? It's just a dog and pony show that's just being dragged out. It is embarrassing how, sorry to say, how stupid a lot of these people do appear to be. The obvious is the obvious. Okay, so this is how this new thing called Swan 25 looks, at least at this moment, in an enhanced picture. Okay, now if I can, I don't know how to get rid of it. That it doesn't want to let me do that. So I have a whole shitload of pictures here that I can show you. So can you guys see this? Is this on the screen now? It looks like a wheel, kind of.
No, you haven't shifted.
Still the same.
Oh,
slide.
all right, hold on. Okay, so if you go like,
Maybe just exit out of that and then click on the new one.
okay, stop screen, and
There we
then
go.
present, share screen, share screen. I mean, Zoom is so much better than this. This is just like really bad news. Okay, I'm just, here's, okay, so there is an astronomer. Can you see that this is a drawing?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a drawing by John Walson. He's someone I know, I've met. He's actually very famous for photographing craft right near the sun. He has been on the Rents show years ago, many times. He is an astronomer. He lives in England. I've seen his telescopes. We've been on the top of a rooftop in Malta watching UFOs go by with his telescope. So he's the real thing. Now he is afraid for his life. He's not allowed to say, he can look through his telescope, but he can't tell us what he's seeing. But he did make a drawing. This is what he saw of 3I Atlas. So he seems to see some kind of craft. And by the way, it's surrounded by rings of some kind of atmosphere, something like a Dyson sphere or something, and then some black space. So it's kind of floating in the middle of these protective rings, if you will. So just showing you that. I think I can go right down the road here. Now, these are his, okay, so what he did was he went online, he searched, and he's completely obsessed. So he searched for the best images of 3I Atlas. And so I'm just going to run through these really quickly and show you what he got, because no one has seen them except the people who have watched my shows and so on and so forth. So these are much more interesting, I think you must admit, than anything you've been seeing or anyone else has been seeing. And they're getting a level of detail which is quite extraordinary.
Carrie, these are John's photos. Is that correct? John
No.
Leonard Walsh?
Okay, so let me repeat. They would arrest him or throw him in jail or kill him if he actually shows you what he can see through his telescope. He can see through his telescope is like the surface of Saturn. I mean, I've been right with him when he's looking at this stuff. He's got the moon like so up close, you wouldn't even believe it. I mean, he's got the goods. NASA lies to you. They have the goods, okay? So they have Solar Warden that patrols our space, you know, our solar system. They have, believe me, they're in contact even. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're in contact. So again, I'm just going to get that out of here. So I guess I'll leave it at that. Those are some pictures just to sort of whet your appetite, if you will. You probably are going to see more tonight on Hoagland's show.
Awesome.
If he's allowed to do anything. But the bottom line here is that we, the people, are, and we have to demand the truth from our governments, okay, around the world. And the secret space program, look, what Donald Trump put in place, Space Force, was a covering that was basically his effort to try to own what the secret space program, secret government, which is mostly underground and off planet, is doing. Okay. So that is his administration's effort to take control of that. He is not successful so far, as I'm concerned. Okay, now we don't know what kind of negotiations are going on with 3i Atlas, but I can guarantee you they're in touch. They're in contact. And there was actually a shutdown of all images, period, not because of the sun, but just between July 21st and August 21st. There was like a month of total blackness that we humans were not party to anything that was going on. So they could have, you know, gone out there, boarded the ship, you know, had meetings. We would not be the wiser. I'm just trying to paint a picture. We are in the dark, literally not being told anything. So this is the trouble. But there are things that this particular craft are doing that are sort of in your face. When it is going on a trajectory, what David Sereda talked about is that every point that it's crossing relates to a historical event, especially religious historical event back in our history, which means they know us intimately. They know how humans think. They know, you know, what you believe, and that, you know, Methuselah lived for 100 years. I mean, all these different correspondences are mathematical. And the way aliens can communicate with humans, even if you don't share, you know, the same language, is through mathematics. So what they're signaling to us is that they have been watching us, that they have been recording us, and that they came into our solar system at a particular time and place where everything is being orchestrated from their end. Okay. And how we react. Well, we react secretly because we've got a secret government, a secret space program, and it goes from there. And the evidence, if you don't believe me, is also that Richard Hoagland is being blocked, because I think they're afraid this is a moment for him as a scientist who goes out beyond, you know, where I think is saying of his website or something, where no man dares to go or whatever. So that's why they're afraid he's going to, you know, he's kind of a drama queen. And so he's going to take this moment and make a big deal of it. You know, in a sense, he's been waiting for this all his life. Okay. So now you want me to, this is kind of, I will talk about this. I will talk, see, I tend to link up the dots. I connect the dots. So I will talk about Charlie Kirk and why they killed, they tried to do a, you know, false flag, kill him, make it look like it.
Let's save that, because I'm gonna bring, that's the next part of my discussion. And
okay, you said what subjects? These are subjects. I'm not going to talk about it.
Subjects. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, that's the kind of thing that I will talk about, is everything under the sun and link them all together.
Wow, that sounds absolutely incredible. Laura, what are your plans? What do you plan on discussing? I always enjoy your discussions, your insights. So what are you planning on?
Well, I'm really excited to hear everybody. My gosh. Well, there's a lot of different layers, different kind of subjects that connect. I share a bit about my great-grandfather Eisenhower, not because I want to make that my, you know, focus, but there's a lot that they're trying to keep from us about what took place during his administration. And it's not just about him. It's the voice that he had for many of us back then, for sovereignty, for freedoms, for liberation from the deep state. There were things he set in motion to dismantle that. But of course, it's us dismantling it. But touching upon a little bit of that, the millions of dollars that are spent every year to silence people like us, Richard Hoagland, you know, all of us that have dealt with censorship, how hard it is to, you know, bounce back. I mean, we do, and that's maybe 2 slides, right? The rest of it, maybe a few, just on, you know, just some of the deeper layers of all this that some really extraordinary people have helped me to understand, including a lot of folks here, just about that particular era, that particular time in our history. So I'll share what I've learned there and how that lines up with a lot of about just our connection. And that's very brief. A lot of it's going to be about the weaponization of the zodiac, how that relates to the 12-strand DNA, 12 houses, 12 strands, 12 stargates. I mean, just the connection with all of this, the multidimensional cosmos, and our reconnection to the Christ Sophia, the divine blueprint. Not in a woo-woo kind of new agey way, but in the way of how does this relate to the planetary grid network, and what were the reversal grids? What happened that made it so we're born into a system that literally from the beginning of our life begins to throw us into inversion through all the pillars of society that are all swamps that need to be drained. How does this show up in the zodiac with all the different astrological alignments that are going on? What is the psyops that we're being thrown to hijack that growth period and initiation that we all experience in our own unique ways? Is to bring us, into the 0 point unified field and not be so ruled, by alignments too, because a lot of what rules us are that Anunnaki that, Carrie talks about so much, and others that have been in the field. And I know all of you have touched upon the subject. Where is that overlay? How does it show up there? How can we begin to move into the 12 tones, the flames, the true representation of what this meant, where it was much more embodied than, something we experience on a prediction level, which is important for awareness. It's like we'd want to know the weather forecast before going out. If want to make sure we wear a rain jacket and a coat if it's going to be that kind of weather. But how can we drop being played, being controlled and manipulated, and how to clear or acknowledge the clearing that needs to take place in our creative channels to move beyond the archonic sort of lower astral, lower shadow Neptune, to move into that multidimensional awareness as a scriptwriter, as a empowered person that reclaims that creative imagination and writes a better script for our future. So it just goes into where does that show up in places we don't expect? And that can be incredibly revealing, just like iridology or looking at, hidden things about our bodies that might reveal more than we thought. So I'm kind of shedding light on some of those sort of things. And that, the future is in our hands. So a lot about galactic history and the remedial tone that the system was designed to keep out. So the mother energy would never return and reclaim her body. It's sort of like them doing that to our physical body with geoengineering, that nature experiences that we experience through all sorts of bioweapons and tactics being used to, hook us in, that we can absolutely collapse and override through the power of our, reconnection to our truth. And that's what my book is about, awakening the truth frequency, that is enough to collapse this control matrix. And that in a location, why is this location so significant? Montauk area, Long Island, that we would all come together. And what has, touching upon what's gone on there, and what our presence, what our field, what our unity and conversations and presentations and love and everybody that we relate to and what our intent is and what we send out is going to shift the vibration of a very, very targeted area of the world.
Wow, fantastic. Always love your going down the rabbit hole of the consciousness. You always make it comfortable. So it's like,
oh, good.
Michael, can I say something? Is it okay,
absolutely,
everyone? I'm sitting here listening to you, and I have no doubt how fabulous this summit event's going to be, because each of you are actually all talking about the same exact thing. You're putting it into a timeline because we're prepared for the information to come forth now. Whether you use pixels and numbers, when we got on the computer system, when they started taking our blood, DNA when we were born, how that got in, what the institutions are at the hospitals, how everything is number coded now, plastic, we're in a transition. And however we want to formulate it, your grandfather with the 3 presidents that Mike brought up, we really should start with you and what went on with his history first, and then how Kennedy and all the other presidents followed through with that, in my opinion. And I love that Mike and Kerry can go at it a bit because they're both right in their own ways. And there are that many people that will hear both sides. So I love that we can be together and really roll up our sleeves and pitch it out there. And I think the history that Brad is bringing forth is just another unraveling. We wouldn't have been able to be here a day sooner than we are. We are here because we've been prepared to be here today, whether it's through the zodiac energies of the planet. These programs that we were born into have been well illustrated a million years ago. We're just part of the timeline. This is all that this is. It's an energy awakening. And the matrix about the federal government, the IRS, that's all part of it. We're ready to hear and think different because we're being turned on, or whatever we're going to call it. And I really think the urgency of putting this together in like a half an hour, and you guys are great to be on board with me. I appreciate that. But it isn't about any of us. It's about spreading the message and getting people more prepared to, and we are in for a magnificent season. It's going to be wild. Look what happened when I spoke to you till today. The events are happening so quickly. They're shocking. You believe them, you don't believe them, where they're coming from, but everyone's starting to think a little bit. That's the best part of right now. So having you here to sit with the audience and resonate that information that you're rising, your consciousness is rising. So how it was designed, how the numbers are pixel and computerized, and how this is coming in, and the transition we're into going forward. This is the exact right time for all of us to be together. And I just want to say once again, Michael, thank you so much for grouping us together and letting us share our message to the Long Islanders of New York.
Yeah, definitely. And I like what Laura said about the Montauk project. And Brad and I and you were talking about the Montauk project before we went on. Brad brought up the excellent point that one of the seats from one of the craft was taken to Montauk and put people up. And, that Netflix show Stranger Things kind of like can lose to some of these things that have been used for the Montauk. And other people have talked about the Montauk project for many years. But let's jump into other controlled information and thoughts and all that kind of stuff. And that's a Charlie Kirk event that just happened. Brad, what are your thoughts on Charlie Kirk?
Oh boy, so many inconsistencies. We're not being told the truth. I had high hopes for Kash Patel, but he seems to be going along with this lone nut shooter. I mean, it's the same script over and over and over again. But now I just saw today that they've done the analysis on the gunshot, and it was at close range. So this is just throwing everything into a tizzy to try to stick with this old narrative. It's just, I don't know how people could really go along with it anymore. But this could very well be the linchpin we need to turn the tides against this deep state who keeps doing these kind of things and keeps trying to tell us, oh no, it's just a one-off lone nut shooter. And I also saw that the governor of Utah said the kid has not talked yet. So everything you see, all these fake inquiries into his texts with his lover and all this, it's just, once again, it so reminds me of Lee Harvey Oswald. And I think, Mike, you might want to chime in with this, all the parallels and the one-off shooter kind of thing, and how this just doesn't really add up. And unfortunately, I might have to go here in a minute. I'm in the library and they're closing up in a couple minutes.
That's why I want
to close by saying I can't wait to see all you guys in Long Island. And Donna, thank you so much for bringing us together. It's going to be a great event. And I'm going to watch the replay on this and see what you guys have to say after I got to jump off.
All right, and I will try to get you your little book blurb by Monday. I promise. Okay, I'll get on it. But tomorrow's football day, so forget that. Yeah,
give me that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so, from I think within an hour, maybe 2 hours after the Charlie Kirk incident, I come on and basically destroy the narrative right away. I've seen these things. I've studied these things over time. And then was basically they hijacked a deep state event that they knew was coming. That's my thoughts on it. But the narrative continues. But this is something we see in a lot of these events where they'll continue all these different narratives. Oh, the shot came from here, and you get all these experts to come on and talk about it. And we just see so many anomalies. Every day there's more. It's 21 days to create a habit. They want to just keep force feeding us and controlling our consciousness until at some point we just accept it. Kind of like the COVID stuff, even though all of us were out, saying, this is false, this is negative, don't go for it, don't get that vaccine. Still people went and got it. 80% of Americans still went out and got that vaccine. So it is something that we're doing again. So I think we're going to see a lot of this stuff in the future. Because this is a play against the deep state, and the white hats are basically taking the script and turning it against the deep state. So I don't see it as a huge negative, although Carrie and I and all of us here will agree that, yeah, we would like to say the truth, and that's our business to put out the truth. We're not attached to anyone. No one's controlling us or puppeting us, although I see some people out there that are. We're out there sharing the information that's true, and you're going to get it from us. We're going to constantly give you the true information. You can decide for yourself what you want to believe, and you know, that's just the way it's going to be going forward until everybody wakes up. So that's going to take a little bit longer. Carrie, what are your thoughts?
Well, I can play a clip that's like less than probably a minute long, where Juan O'Savin is describing how they put people into witness protection.
Right.
And he was the reason that matters. It's all in my video that I made. But Kash Patel was talking to for the FBI. He was on a podium, and he basically made a statement to Charlie saying, you know, so long, brother, you know, we've got this. I'll see you in Valhalla. And those words are actually echoed by Juan O'Savin in a previous broadcast. And he is ostensibly the spokesperson, the lead spokesperson for what is in essence the Trump White Hats or the Trump MAGA movement, or whatever you want to call the name of what they do. Okay. But they are the ones that are the military arm of the Trump MAGA movement. And Juan is the ostensible leader. I've been told he has a rank higher than general. He is JFK Jr., and I have backed that up with lots of evidence over the years and done many interviews about that. So this, what I'm saying here, is not going to be per se about that, but it is what he said in this statement that is so striking. So I could basically share my screen again, if that works, and play this 1 minute video if it works. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's play that. That's a good. That's
okay,
a good
it just takes 1 second for this thing to play.
Long and short of it is that you're on his stage. You know, when you hide, we go into witness protection. There's different ways you can create an identity. It's much easier to have a shared identity. And do you allow them free somewhere, or do they go to what we call Valhalla, some holding place that's not able to be in communication with the rest of the world, but as a community? And then you can bring them out later on.
Rest down, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
So this is, as far as I'm concerned, a tell, you know, if you want to call it that. So this is kind of what we're talking about is getting these tells from, one, Kash Patel, and two, somebody unearthed this piece of video footage where Juan was explaining. So Juan himself, being JFK Jr., is also part of the package. So he knows, he orchestrates this. I believe he's behind a lot of the orchestration of, and the reason they brought Charlie Kirk into witness protection and staged a whole assassination scenario for the world is to stop, to hide him, to take him off the world stage at a time when he was being threatened by Israel. That much is evident in, you know, a lot of the press information, a lot of his speeches towards the end of his so-called life, and so on. So they had to put him into hiding because otherwise they were going to lose him. And JFK Jr. knows this better than anyone, because right when he was going to run for president, and Charlie Kirk was the selection, or at least one of them, of the White Hat group under Trump for who would come and follow in Trump's footsteps. So he was their choice. Somehow that got leaked. Somehow that put him in great danger. And then Netanyahu was offering him huge sums of money to support Israel. This is recent news, and this is substantiated. So put two and two together. What would you do with a guy that you needed to protect to keep him alive for the future? If you saw the best possible future scenario for our, you know, planet, or at least the United States, is this young man who is quite brilliant and a wonderful speaker. So this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I almost completely agree with you on all your points. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I don't know if it's a false flag. I do know, you know, I'm watching these guys doing this with their baseball caps and signaling right before he shot, and they're clearly signaling to a shooter. The close range thing doesn't seem likely to me. It clearly looks as though that he gets hit and the bullet goes through that way, which means a guy who's higher up and shooting down. Logically, I have a friend, Mike. He's like you. He's got a special forces background. I'm going to do my show on Monday. I'm going to ask Steve Doran about it, the trail boss, and see what he thinks about all. There's definitely something fishy going on. But I think it's again, the thing I want to discuss is not so much the incident itself, but let's assume he did pass away. I did see a video from a guy who was with him the entire time after the shooting, one of his mentors, a pastor, and he gave a pretty convincing testimony that he was shot dead. And so I don't know which is the truth, and I'm not going to argue that. But let's talk about the impact of the incident as if he were shot. And what you can see is that this is a turning point event, to use a pun. This is something that's changed America almost the way 9/11 changed it. You've got people who lean Democrat who are now like, F the Democrats. There is a major shift going on because of this. And you see the deep state trying to respond as if Jimmy Kimmel losing his crappy rated show is the same thing. Even Elon Musk said, he went full retard. You never go full retard to Ben Stiller. He told him that and said, just STFU, get out of here. Because what matters is that he was taken off the stage. Now, whether it was by the white hats or by the black hats, he was taken off the stage because he loved God, because he loved Jesus, because he loved America, and because he was changing the hearts and minds of young people and turning them away from the satanic dark cabal. That's why he's not with us anymore. So for whatever reason, witness protection, whatever it is, when they strike at us like that, Michael, I don't start fights, but if you swing at me, I'm going to punch back. And I think that's what you're going to see here over the next few weeks. Maybe it's not the best course of action. Maybe it's not what we should do, but I feel like this is like a seismic shift in the body politic of America. And the response is going to be chilling. I mean, I'm just thinking we're that close. We're that close to a Charles Bronson movie where people are just sick and tired of girls getting stabbed on subways and people being shot for speaking their mind and talking about God. And I just think the response is going to be very, very difficult for us to all get through. We're headed into a tough stretch here for sure.
Yep. I think it's a turning point too, but like 9/11 was a deep state controlled operation. Mm-hmm. President Trump's fake assassination was a white hat operation that was flipped. And I think this is the same thing. So
I don't know which this is. I hope it's a white hat operation. And a year from now, he reemerges and says, we had to do this. So I hope that's true.
So I give you my extensive background, and I say it's a white hat operation. So Laura, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of that going on. A lot of white hat operations. And I mean, the division, the polarization is getting, worse to the extreme. And with all these, we're not talking just sleeper agents. We're talking, people that are just amongst us that have crossed the border, that have been, activated, that have been released from underground base. I mean, God only knows how much that is, going on, and what this bioweapon has done to people's mind connected to the 5G as well, to create more unrest, more division, more danger for, all of us. And we've all put ourselves out on the line. We know it. We're a team, I feel, with the white hats and the positive military units and the things that are going on to shift what's going on the planet. So what we see on the world stage is very different than what is actually going on. And I do definitely feel that there are a lot of different stories that seem to be coming from that side, patriot or white hats, or they're doing this and they're clearing this out and they're being executed, that make people complacent. And some are very, very, accurate, I'm sure. And you're the one that is really that clarity, you know, Michael, and all of you, Carrie and Mike as well, to really be able to see the anomalies and the signs. And if you don't know how to read that, you can't really navigate very well what's going on in the news. There's a lot of CGI. There's a lot of AI. There's white hat operations. I definitely felt that the assassination with Trump immediately was a white hat operation. And intuitively, that was the first hit that I felt about Charlie. I've kind of kept a distance from the news lately just because my energy field has been so overwhelmed. But I feel so much is moving in our favor, because an awakening humanity is going to have a society and a system that is collapsing and reflecting back the victory of what we're attaining from within. And we just have to stay the course, regardless of where we might feel where the information takes us. Even you guys arguing, you could tell it's playful. You don't mean anything vicious. The thing is, these conversations without the division and holding that line and being that example for others, that we can all see different perspectives and have different backgrounds or opinions about this, and have a wonderful conversation about it and learn from each other. So I think, Michael, you've always talked about, this being able to see and remote view, and with your background and your insiders, Carrie, and your incredible research, and everybody here. So it's going to be amazing. I got to go to be at this event. Thank you so much, Donna, for pulling us together. I just have so much love and respect for all of you. And Michael, it's always amazing to see you. And I look forward to seeing, where all of this goes. And it'll be interesting to see how the next couple of years unfold. But yeah, I definitely see something spiking, and will override and help to de-weaponize the humans that are becoming weaponized, and that the white hat operations are happening to protect a lot of people right now too.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah,
Love you, Laura.
Love you guys.
Love you too. Thanks.
Do you want to hear what I think about Charlie? What happened?
Yeah.
You're
Absolutely.
interested?
Yeah, just sorry, I'm going to have to go as well. But I can stay for your whatever you might say here, Laura.
Thank you, Carrie.
Donna.
Thank you.
But I actually have to go.
I hope it's a white hat operation. There's been so much of that around here. We don't know the truth about much of anything we've ever learned anyway. So we don't really know what's going on here, but let's just use the fact that we can look and have a conversation and figure out white, dark. But the fact is that he was assassinated in front of a lot of young American children, young adults that are going to be, running the world, making peace, full of hate. We don't know. And it's a global, it affected the entire planet. So whether it's white or dark, the fact is, the reality in the world that we are living, it was traumatizing to see a life being taken out. Young father, upcoming, someone's son, husband, father, and all he did was have peace rallies and conversations, spoke to people who had nothing in common with him. It was a very peaceful exposure. And then he got shot. And I think the message is, America, you wave your flag, you're an American. Don't let anything keep you down. Don't be afraid of anything. I think this is going to bring people out and give them a lot of courage in a peaceful way. Because if that's the leadership that Charlie was projecting, peaceful conversations with people who have nothing in common with you, I'm all for it. And I think that shakeup was not only based here in America, but it hit globally. The millions, the billions of people that don't have these conversations, but it affected them. So it's time to stand up with pride and not be afraid to speak freely amongst other people who are different from you. And that hate and that division, how they're constantly dividing you to hate somebody, don't empower it. Don't let his killing be in vain. He was a peaceful man who spoke to people who are very different from him. That killing was not about prejudice. That was to try to make you afraid of being a free soul spirit. Let's not forget that. And one other thing, while I'm an American, I'm not agreeing with all of what America did, right or wrong, but I'm an American and I am going to wave my American flag. And if you're an American and you're living here and you don't like seeing that American flag, that's a sad day for you. But not all the Americans here, put your flags out, be proud to be an American, support what Charlie's efforts were, freedom of speech, the loving people that we are here in America, stand up for America. the loving, peaceful people that we are, support Charlie. Do not ever be afraid of being shut down. He did what he did. Believe it or you don't believe it. He was killed in front of the young future adults of this world. They're trying to frighten you to not speak. And I don't want anyone ever to say that he was a brave man. You don't have to be brave to speak freely from your heart. You just have to speak freely from your heart. And we have to stand behind what happened there. That's how I feel about what happened to Charlie.
Beautiful, Donna. And
Thank you.
your Awakening Summit, again, it's October 4th and 5th. Have the link in the description box for anyone that wants to attend. Connect. It's going to be a great event. You heard from all the speakers that are going to be there. It's going to be fabulous. So thank you. Thanks everyone on the panel that's here and has been here. And lots of love to everyone. And we'll see you guys next time.
Michael, we love you. Thank you so much for having us. God bless you.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was really good.
We're still on.
Goodbye, guys.
Thanks
Goodbye.
everyone for
Hi,
showing
Donna.
up.
See you in a few weeks.
You got it, Mike. Thanks.
Again.